AFL Today's round 16 wrap is here. Lads, what do we cover?
I had a great time watching my beloved uncle kick 7 in Tassie.
Your uncle?
I had the Sydney vs Dogs. What a game of footy. And is that the game of the year?
I think it is. Check out AFL Today right now. Round 16 is done and dusted, and welcome back to the AFL Today Show, brought to you by Stockhead. I'm your host, Liam McAllion, also known as the Stats Guy. Now, I've got Leo Mullaly in the corner. He's absolutely up and about for the Hawks. How you going, Leo?
Do you ever get upset, Marcus, that he throws to me first?
Always.
Throw to Marcus first. This is my handsome friend, Marcus. He's single.
He throws to both of us. He should throw to both of us and be like, the boys on the couch.
The boys are here.
And I'm just sitting here like...
waiting your turn.
I'm waiting.
You could have told me before the show, lads. But we've also got Marcus Bazzano.
You
always say the best till last. Best till last, I reckon.
Oh, you saved it there. You saved it.
There we go. We got another awesome show. We're going to get through all the round 16 review. Make sure you subscribe to the AFL Today Show on YouTube as well. Hit the notifications bell. Follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. On Facebook, it's actually Aussie Rules Today. All the others, it is AFL Today AU. And that's for more footy content all season long. Leave a comment. We need a few more comments on the YouTube as well. We're going to do some social shorts. We've done a few actually, Leo. A few that I got roasted on, but we'll see how we go.
Yeah, a few you got roasted on, as you said. But I reckon, just pop in a few more and we'll react to them.
We'll react to some comments, yeah.
Send some love comments instead to Stats Guy. He really needs. He
Love for
deserves it.
Stats
No,
Guy.
I got enough.
Hate for Leo.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind. Do you want to shout out your Instagram again?
Nah. Negative.
God damn it. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the games. Round 16 results. Thursday night footy at the Adelaide Oval. Now, Leo, this is your one, but we're going to start off with Port Adelaide, 16 goals, 14, 110. Carlton, 8 goals, 12, 60. They've done it again, Carlton. Oh, no.
They've done it again. But I want to start on Port and give them their flowers, and we'll get to the disaster that is Carlton.
Yes.
Georgiades, lads. He's officially here. I feel like a few weeks ago, you boys, when he kicked 7 against Melbourne, you were like, I don't know if he had that in him.
Has he got the consistency? That's what I was asking.
He's got the consistency.
Okay.
5 goals is great. I love that. That is a great output. But what I really love from Georgiades is he's so good at identifying where the dangerous space is. He knows how to get off his man and then push into that space. And the Port mids, they just trust him to do that every time. He's so good on the lead. The usual stars for Port, they were awesome.
Chef's kiss.
They were chef's kiss. You got Rosie doing his thing. Butters, he shook the tag, didn't he, Stats Guy?
He did shake the tag. So he played the fool of Chincotta. So Chincotta went to the bench as he was tagging him. They both sort of looked like they were going to the bench. And then Butters goes, I'm going to double back. I didn't think he had that much brain power, Butters, but he did really well just to shake the tag there. I think more. And then Carlton had to waste a sub. So fair play.
Yeah, fair play. And another player who was really good, Miles Bergman. So he did a great job on Cripps. He limited Cripps, but 25 disposals and 2 goals himself. I actually want to ask a question on this one.
Ooh.
Port Adelaide it's all about keeping Butters this offseason. They need to, that's obvious. But Bergman is also out of contract. How important is Miles Bergman becoming to this team that they just have to sign him to that same level that they have to sign Butters?
I think it's very important. You look at Ollie Warren's going to be retiring. You got Travis Boak going to be retiring as well. These are the players that you need to keep around the club. And he's just an excellent role player. You saw on the weekend what he did with Cripps, and he can influence the game himself.
Yeah, and I think we talked up, obviously, Horn Francis, Rosie, Butters, and we were like, where's that next sort of
Best
level of player? And he is probably that, other than Georgiades, maybe.
Yeah.
Bergman would probably round out the top 5, which we didn't know who was in that top 5 at the start of the season. So you have to get his signature. Otherwise, they're going to be relying on those guys again next season.
Yeah, if they do lose Bergman and
That's
Butters,
massive,
that's massive for them.
Yep.
I just want to end on Port. Just a few quick shout outs. Darcy Byrne-Jones never lights up the stat sheet, but he's so reliable, always does the right thing. Travis Boak was so
All
clean.
Australian small forward.
All Australian small forward, Darcy Byrne-Jones.
Wow.
Get him in. All Australian Rigman. Travis Boak, he was so clean. He didn't make one mistake. And the youngsters of Richards, Hugh Jackson and Liddy.
Yeah,
I love Liddy.
Liddy's good.
They all brought some energy and their work rate was exceptional.
Yeah.
Now we get to Carlton. We get to the grim stuff. This was ugly. This was really ugly to watch. Now, the skill errors were prevalent. The lack of fight in play was prevalent. They didn't mind a few fights outside of play.
Stupid.
But it was their mentality, their effort, their lack of attention to detail, their care for the detail that was very, very poor. And I don't think we've seen that from them this year. We've seen the skill errors. We've seen other stuff. We haven't seen that. So that was the major sign for me that I'm like, oh boy, this is really bad. It was stuff like not picking up the ball, not kicking over the man on the mark, not being able to stick with opponents, getting burnt by blokes like Richards who are prepared to run, prepared to put in the hard yards. And you have Patrick Cripps come out and defending Voss, which, fair, you got to do that as your captain of your club. I thought he spoke really well.
Was he the one that spray painted on the walls? Keep Voss? Was
Inside
that
job, inside
Cripper
job.
just spray painted?
I'm not sure many Carlton fans have seen.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, they got someone inside at the club did it. But he came out and fair enough to defend him. He had to do it and he spoke really well. This isn't an attack on Cripps, nor really is it Voss, but it was just for me that the way they played, it was like they were waving the flag. It was like they were not playing for the coach with what I sort of mentioned, those reasons. So is anyone on this panel Vossy in post this season or even this season?
Absolutely not. I think the worst thing about that, though, is you could see, not to this extent, but you could see that sort of result coming.
Yeah.
Especially playing Curnow arguably underdone, Wiedering arguably underdone. And off the back of losing to North Melbourne as well, you could see it coming. So, yeah, I think there needs to be change.
Yeah, I'm Vossy out. I don't think it's all on him because, as you said, Leo, the skill errors were there, but he's got to go. They need to change. They need to change, Carlton.
Well, they've got a lot of issues, and I just want to end on this last question. The Blues, they've had one of the oldest playing sides this season. I think it's top 4 of average age. Finals is done, out of the question. They don't have a pick until like pick 35 in this year's draft. Do we think they're the next side that is going to completely bottom out and rebuild? Are they going to be forced into that, or what? How do they approach this offseason?
Oh, they have to. I think their window's done. Their premiership window's done.
Yeah,
I think that's
agree
pretty
with that.
clear.
Unfortunately for them.
And I think you spoke about they got a late pick for the next draft. Albeit we've heard the draft class isn't as great as the previous
It's
years.
a bit diluted with the academy picks.
Oh, yeah, true.
With the academy prospects. And look, I think it has to be done. They're gonna possibly have to trade Mackay, get some picks, and try and find something in the next draft or two. And you look at their defense as well. A lot of their halfbacks are getting on. Let's face it.
Yeah, they're old. Yeah.
Newman's mid-30s.
Sard.
He's got Sard as well, his early 30s. McGovern, who's getting on a little bit. Doherty as well. Like, they don't have much footy left in them. And a lot of them get injured in the preseason anyways.
Yep.
They just need that something more, especially off halfback.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Oh, you go.
No,
Joel.
you go, mate. You go.
All right, no worries. But yeah, the Blues, unfortunately for the Blues, it's not a good season for them. It's just a bit of a bottom out. And Port, they looked really strong. And as you said, Leo, the young guys coming through are very, very exciting. All right, let's get into Friday night. Everyone wants to talk about Friday night at the SCG. Sydney versus the Western Bulldogs. Sydney, 14 goals, 12-96. The Western Bulldogs get the job done, 16 goals, 105. What a bloody game this was, Marcus. Oh, my God.
I know for every Friday night game that I normally cover on a Sunday, it feels like every single time I'm saying, this could be the game of the season.
Yeah. Why do we give him the good game?
This could be the game of the year. And it definitely was. But the Dogs triumphed in Bont's celebration game, his 250th, of course. But it all started pre-game. Before the siren was even blown, it was little old Papley going to Darcy and making an absolute fool out of himself.
What was going on there?
I think it's fair enough.
I know it's a tactic, but the way it played out when he basically got ragdolled by Darcy.
Yeah, but why,
onto the ground.
out of all the people to go towards Darcy, why do you put the smallest guy on the ground?
Because he's the instigator. He's the one that...
He's the pest.
Yeah, he's the pest.
I want to see Wizard versus Papley in the fight. That's probably... Papley would smoke him probably.
Yeah, 100%.
Although they both played fairly well, to be honest. But it was Darcy who got the first and last laugh, obviously with the Dogs winning. But he got the first laugh as well because in the first quarter, he was unreal. He was kicking them from everywhere. Yeah. He kicked 2 goals early on, 1 from the boundary. He kicked 3 in that first half. And... he just looks like he's going to be some sort of player.
Some of his plays, he's like a midfielder that's 210 centimeters. Like that goal from the boundary is like Bont-esque.
Yeah,
and obviously Bont's your midfielder and Sam Darcy's your big tall foot. You could play him anywhere.
Like
Sam
it sounds
Darcy.
so cliche, but not many players can do what he does at his height.
No.
He's a unicorn. He's a unicorn.
He's a unicorn.
Absolutely. But it was Sydney who actually really struggled to cope with the tall forwards of the Dogs.
Yeah.
Darcy kicked a few obviously and had a great start to the game. But Aaron Norton in that second quarter in particular kicked 3 goals, and he was arguably, one of their most dangerous threats and presence going forward, particularly on a lead. It was good to see him, at least be accurate in front of goal as well, which is something that Norton
bit
has
of
struggled
confidence as well, which is good against a decent side. Yeah.
You could tell that Tom McCartan being a laid out was a massive impact to the Sydney team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think as a neutral footy perspective, the third quarter was the best quarter of the game. It was goal for goal. It was end to end in that third quarter. There were 6 lead changes throughout the third term, and that was led largely the Sydney comeback. Obviously, they went goal for goal, and they hit the front actually when you thought they were out of the game. Or it was like it was leaning towards it was going to be out of the game, particularly early in that first half. But you saw Goulden. You said he particularly shined through, didn't you, Leo?
Yeah, he was fantastic. So he gets 30 for the game, but that third quarter, 12 disposals. I think he had 4 intercept possessions as well. One thing I noticed with Sydney, they don't particularly have the best kicks, which we'll touch on with the set shots, but Goulden's kicking, it's a class above his teammates. It's superb.
Oh, yeah.
When you have Goulden and Mills delivering the ball inside 50, compared to previous weeks when they were struggling, it's a huge difference.
And there were a few players as well in that. There were so many plays in that third quarter, but
so good.
2 goal kickers that stood out.
There was 2 midfield goal kickers.
Yes.
One to highlight. Heaney, obviously he's a star player, we know that, but he's equal career high, 5 goals. He got them all before 3/4 time as well, and he had the influence on the ball as well. He had 21 disposals, I believe, and the mini Bont. Freijah. I know it was Bont's celebration, but it was mini Bont who stole the headlines. He finished with 23 disposals, 4 goals. He's only 19 years of age.
Yeah.
And boys,
here we go.
He was pick number 45.
Can you say that again? What was it?
45.
Oh my God.
In that 2023 draft class. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read out that draft class to you boys. Just quickly, the top 10.
All right.
And in hindsight, I want you to give me where you would have picked up Freijah compared to the rest of these players.
Yep.
This was Harley Reid 1. This is in order, by the way. Reid, Colby McKercher. Sorry, it's a bit small. Jed Walter, Zane Dersma, Nick Watson, Riley Sanders, Caleb Windsor, Dan Curtin, Ethan Reid, Nate Caddy in 10, Connor O'Sullivan in 11, and Logan Morris was pick 31 as well in that draft.
Fraser's number 1 for mine right now.
I was saying this before the show. I think Fraser's number 1. I thought in my head, I'm like, that's a big call because you're obviously going to. I think, Leo, you were saying maybe in the future, maybe not going to be number 1, but right now he's the best player in that
I still think there's players in that top 10 like Caddy, like Connor O'Sullivan, like the Wizard, Harley Reid. These guys who probably have bigger ceilings, I think, going forward.
Yep.
But right now, as it sits, it's Fraser 1, Logan Morris 2.
But he'd 100% be in that top 5 mark. Even you look at for future career, top 5 definitely in this draft class for sure.
10 years from now, we could still be saying he's number 1.
I didn't think he had 4 goals in him. That's crazy.
He can play
and he was playing half back at the start of the year. He's playing mid. He's awesome.
He's superb. He can damage anywhere around the ground. He just looks like one of those players. No matter where you put him, he'll get the job done. We talked about when Sydney needed people to stand up in the moment. They weren't really there. It was 4 goals, 10 from set shots. We talked about their inaccuracy. They were lucky to get away with it last week against Port Adelaide. They finished with 17 behinds in that game, I believe. And they finished here, I know 14-12, still more, but you compare that to the Dogs 16-9 and 4-10 from set shots.
Yeah, not what I did.
That's where games are won. Set shot kicking. And they weren't there. But I love the old school bit in the games, the fights, the scrap, in particular. Our man, Rory Lobb.
Our man.
Rory Lobb and Aaron Francis. Just
going at it. What are these two doing?
I think
two knuckleheads.
I think it was a play from Aaron Francis just to target him.
Maybe.
It was in the last quarter though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was weird.
But there was nibbles all around the whole time throughout that game. And they just went off it 100 metres from the ball. It was great to see. I want to see Lobb versus Francis, get him in the ring. And the undercard.
Lobb would win easy.
The undercard is what we all want to see.
Wizard Papley?
No. It's Stats Guy and Lexi Mary as the undercard.
No,
I would love to see that.
I love Lexi Mary. She's great on the TikTok. I got a stat for you.
Illegal, by the way.
I got a few stats for. I got a stat for you on Rory Lobb. So Rory Lobb, just to get back on track, boys. Rory Lobb has progressively gotten more marks in 8 straight games. So that's an AFL record. He's gone 1 mark, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13. So he had 13 marks. Great effort, and he just progressively gotten better with his marking every game, and that's never happened
14
before.
Next week.
So yeah, if you can have a look at the markets, jump on 14 plus marks if you can.
Look at the
I don't know if
the
you can
market.
Yeah, the markets. Anyway, that was clearly the best game of the year, and I just want to touch on this before we end. No game should be played at the SCG ever again. Until they fix their grass. Until they fix their grass or whoever's doing the groundskeeping.
The groundskeeper.
That was so dangerous. There was players' knees popping out. There was grass and mud everywhere. They almost did.
Not one knee was
not one injury.
There could have been.
It wasn't a great spectacle on TV.
Dangerous.
And with players slipping over, it was the only blight on what
Yeah.
was a fantastic game. Probably, for mine, the best game of the year.
Maybe just get synthetic grass or something. Might
Some
fix
what?
it up.
Some
synthetic grass.
synthetic.
Syntho. No, that'd be horrible for AFL. All right, let's get into Saturday at the MCG. Another awesome game. Gold Coast 15 goals, 14, 104. Melbourne 12 goals, 13, 85. Now, lads, so much happened in this game. If you turned off in the first quarter because it was 37-1, you're like, oh, this game's over. And I think a few of the commentators were like, oh, this is going to be up at the 100-point win. Melbourne stormed back at one point. It was 50-15. They got it back to 3 goals. Obviously, only ended up 19 points. Just a lot happened. I'm just going to go through some of the stat lines because it was very exciting. You got Matt Rowell, just signed a contract. I think, Leo, you said a bit of a watch on him during the week.
Yeah, well, it's similar with Chad Warner after he signed his deal, started to play some great football and same with Rowell.
Yeah, he was awesome. So just a bit of a basketball reference. I think he got a triple-double here in this one, lads. He got 24 disposals, 12 clearances, 11 tackles. He was doing absolutely everything. I think he had 2 goal assists on his left foot as well, just showing his
Dexterity.
Dexterity. I don't think that's the right word, but
Definitely not.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Sounded cool.
But just a lot was happening. You got inside 50 tackling pressure from both sides. Just had so many good tackles that set up goals. You got Ben King. He was awesome with the mark, similar to Sam Darcy, that no one can reach him when he gets up there. 3 goals, 2 against Stephen May.
Stephen
May. I don't know why I said it like
Stephen.
Stephen May's been copping a few baths from players lately, lads.
Yes, but would you say the move to drop Jake Lever worked?
No.
No, because they looked a little bit undersized and there wasn't enough spoils being done by Melbourne. They did still play pretty well because they got it back to 19 points. And I think it was more the midfield that sort of struggled against the Suns midfield.
Yep.
But they probably did need Jake Lever. Maybe it was a statement from the coach. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Goody's probably fed up. And I mean, they're 14th on the ladder. He's been dropping Fritz, dropping Van Rooyen here and there. So it was definitely a statement.
Yeah, no, fair call. The one guy I want to talk about who just randomly pops up and turns into the GOAT every now and then, Jake the Snake, Milkshake Melksham, had 5 goals, 6. He could have had the best game in our lifetime. 5 goals, 6. He's a medium-sized forward. He what do you have? 6 inside 50 marks, 3 inside 50 tackles, 18 disposals, 5 goals, 6. I love it. It says 12 scoring moments, but 11 of them were his shots,
and half of them are points.
Half of them are points. It's just. He was so good.
It was cramping in the third quarter too. He was cooked. And Mac Andrew, what are you doing? He was his direct opponent. You'd think after he's on 3 goals 4, you'd be like, oh, I've actually got to switch on. 5 goals 6.
That's unbelievable.
I will still only remember him for kicking the game winner against Geelong when we were
at the Bombers.
when he was at the Bombers.
He had some random really good games, but I'm not going to say he cost him, but it just sums up Melbourne this year where they miss a lot of shots. So he kicked 2 from the boundary, kicked 2 from outside 50, and then he missed some easier ones. So it sort of sums up Melbourne, how they're going this season. We had a few collisions. So you had poor Harvey Langford. I don't know if you guys saw this. He copped an elbow to the head from the umpire. This is what I meant if there's a lot going on. There's just so many funny things that happen.
Good. Umpires get into it more.
The umpires just go
get involved in the fight. So let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Jumper tugs.
He's trying to help the tagger.
Use the whistle on your fist to your beanie.
Oh, jeez.
That
A knuckle duster over there. Clary as well. I don't know if you saw him as well. He looked like Voldemort. He had the tape going around his head. That was very funny.
And that was before he had the tape on.
Cozzy's career best games. He had 25 disposals, 3 goals. Absolutely love what he did there. Even assist without his boot on. Another weird thing to happen in this game. And then I just want to look at the ruck matchup. Gorney had a few touches and a goal, but Witsy has had a career resurgence this year. He was in and out of the side a bit last year. Got a few injuries. He had more hit-outs and 4 more clearances than Gorney. And he's getting a bit older now, Witsy, but he's still got it.
Yeah, he's a fan. He's an underrated player, isn't
Probably his whole career he's a little bit
Been
underrated.
underappreciated.
Yeah, and it continues the year of the rucks.
Is that a detriment to Gold Coast? Possibly they might lose Ned Moyle, who I believe is also out of contract.
Yes.
Ned Moyle could do a job at a few clubs.
Draper leaves. Get him to Essendon.
Possibly.
Ooh. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Suns just lifted whenever the Ds were coming back. The Ds missed crucial chances, as I mentioned before, and that's probably cost them the game, but Gold Coast were too good at home. All right. Oh, no. Saturday at UTAS, University of Tasmania Stadium.
Read it to me.
Oh, no. Hawthorn, 23 goals, 12. Wait, is that right? 150 points. North Melbourne, 9 goals, 11, 65.
Good
Oh,
boy.
no. Don't say good boy. Jeez. So, do you want to reference what's going on between me and Leo here?
Yeah, well, how could we forget? There was a bet between the two boys. Leo, obviously the Hawks fan.
2 men.
Liam, the
Boys.
North Melbourne fan. And we were doing it at the line just to make life a little bit easier for Liam.
This man was complaining about the line and then they win by 85.
Oh, have a suck, mate.
The line was 29.5. Hawthorn obviously eclipsed that and did their best of trying to score 170 points last season when they met. But Leo, you're gonna make him you're gonna make Liam your slave for the day. What are you gonna make him do? What are you gonna make him do? I want to see feed.
I don't know if I can say on a PG podcast what I'm going to make him do.
Gimp costume, maybe.
Let's just say, rubbing of the feet will happen.
He
will be giving me a foot massage. That is for sure.
We did establish on Thursday's show.
I know what you're going to say.
That he was a big feet man, Leo. So.
Only when stats guys involved.
Oh no! I'm nervous. Anyway, what happened in the game?
Back to the game. It was the Hawks more than, let's be honest. It was a bit of a come down after beating Carlton the weekend prior, but they've made it 9 consecutive wins at UTAS. The Hawks, it's the Fortress. We called it earlier in the week.
Yep.
It's 75% win rate there, so it's excellent record for the Hawks at that stadium. And it's now 7 in a row against the Kangaroos, so another good record there. Just the one to tick over.
Most teams have 7 against us in a row, I reckon.
But annoyingly for Liam, it was North's biggest loss of the season. But did it feel like the biggest loss of the season? If that makes sense, like it was the worst performance.
I don't know if it was the worst performance. The Carlton first time we played them was the worst performance. But I thought this style was over. We've had 2 good months. We've looked so good. Our defenses look good. Our offenses look good. Our mids are like, yeah, we can get clearances. And it went all out the window. I reckon I've lost my voice from just yelling at the TV on the weekend.
Not the alcohol.
Absolutely.
The veins popping in the neck.
Oh, it wasn't good. I don't get angry very often, but the Roos were just firing me up. And just the defense really struggled to keep up with the pace of the Hawks, Leo. And you called it on the Thursday show.
Well, the defense has had 2 months of just being awesome for a change. And you get... McDonald just wasn't up. We talked about him maybe having another good game, and the Wizard just ran all over him. What a goal, by the way.
That was awesome.
That was a very good goal. Very, very good.
I love that, man. I never thought I'd be in love, firstly with a man, but also with someone that small.
Did you just come out? Did you just
come out?
So you're in love with someone who looks like a child?
Hey, check his documents. He's all good.
Okay.
Check his documents.
Forget about the smalls. I think it was all the talls in this game as well.
Yes, it was the talls.
They were kicking bags left, right, and centre. Alaki kicked 5, but it was. We want to finish, obviously, on the Hawks' tall forwards, especially Jack Gunston in the twilight of his career.
Daddy Gunston, Uncle Gunston.
Career high 7 goals.
That's crazy.
He was superb.
Toby Pink, he's been so good. And
he wasn't at the MCG, though, so...
True.
Yeah. Eat your heart out.
We should play every game at the G, yeah.
But also his partner in crime, Marbiol Chol.
Mate.
He was, honestly, he was at his best game.
Chol looked like Carey. He looked like Carey.
Equal career high, 5 goals for Marbiol Chol, but it was his chase down on Sack Fisher in the corner of that forward 50 arc. And then he kicked it from 55 on the boundary. Yeah. He was superb. But unfortunately, post-game, it's all going to be a little bit of talk post-game about this one as well, because George Wardlaw, again, suffering another concussion. He missed a lot of footy last season due to concussion. Are we just going to lose another young star of the game?
Oh, don't say that. But we had Lee Adams for North a long time ago. They'd had to have the same sort of thing. Ben Jacobs, same thing. I know this one was a bit more. Would you say
innocuous? Wasn't it?
It was a bit more innocuous. It wasn't like he was going really hard, but a lot of the times he's just. I don't know. He needs to fix his technique.
It's worrying that it's innocuous. I think it looked like it was more precautionary than anything, but. It's not good to see because he's such a talented young player.
Yep, I agree. He's gonna be a star if he plays for years to come. We want to see those players, and especially I love the way he plays. He's in the ball hard. Yeah. He's a hard man.
Honest player.
He is a hard man, like Marcus always likes to say. All right, Leo wins the bet, so I'm gonna have to be his assistant during the week, and let's have a break with Stockhead. Hey Leo, quick question: do you know what the ASX means?
Do you mean AFLX?
No, mate. The ASX, the Australian Stock Exchange.
Oh, man. I'm absolutely clueless with that stuff.
Well, lucky for you, Stockhead is a free website that gives you everything you need to know about punting stocks on the ASX.
Damn, that sounds pretty good. Where do I check them out?
Check it out via stockhead.com.au, and it's even easy for your little pea brain to understand.
Damn.
Saturday night at Marvel Stadium is the next one. Collingwood, West Coast. Collingwood at 13 goals, 10-88. West Coast with a good fight here. 8 goals, 11-59. Leo, this was actually a really good game.
Yeah, it was not bad. And West Coast brought the pressure early in this one. They forced the Pies to overhandball a little bit. I think they may have been a little bit Nick Dacos focused.
Oh.
But as the game went on, the Pies became more and more classy and really flicked into gear. What I will say is, though, every time that the Pies kicked away, except for that last quarter, it was a credit to the Eagles and how they were able to come back into it. And they actually led at halftime. So, start of the second quarter.
I'm going to give you a shout out, Lee, because you did mention in the show on Thursday that the Pies at Marvel, they've always allowed teams to be in the game at 3/4 time, and the case was again with the Eagles, who played particularly well.
I love you. Thank you.
Oh.
The Dakai. Collingwood fans love them. They were brilliant. Nick was probably best on for mine. His second half was just simply outstanding. He was everywhere, really lifted for the Pies. But I want to give you a shout out now, Marcus. Share the love. No, don't touch me.
Okay.
Don't touch me. You are the closest to predicting Darcy Cameron's stat line, as we talked about on the previous show. He was great. He ended with 19 disposals and 9 clearances. I think you said 20 and a goal.
20 and a goal, I think.
Handful of clearances. You said 25 and 2, so you were miles off.
Hey, I was just being positive, man.
Yeah, bloody moron. But what about this kid for Collingwood? Everyone's going to be talking about this kid. He's a superstar of the competition. I think this S. Pendlebury could be a player.
S. Pendlebury. I think
What
you
do
say
you
Ed Allen.
reckon? What do you reckon?
You're going to
What
say
do you reckon,
West.
Stats guy? No, S. Pendlebury. I reckon he's an
S.
all right
Pendlebury,
player.
I'll have a stat on the young man. We've got Pendles. He's now got 100 games of 25 plus disposals and a goal. At least one goal. With 100 games across his career is pretty incredible. The best all time is Gary Ablett Jr. with 136.
136.
And I just had a quick look.
crazy.
Danger and Pendles are both on 100 for that stat line. So I reckon Danger might pip him because Danger kicks more goals.
Really?
But Pendles gets more disposals. So
Yeah, I reckon Pendles.
I reckon
'cause
Pendles has got him.
Pendles might play for longer.
did you see his lightsaber celebration as
I
well?
did, that was sick,
He's
yeah.
got every time he kicks a goal, he's doing a celebration for his kid.
Yeah,
and he
that's
kicking
sick.
more goals because of it. So we maybe should have done this earlier.
37 years young,
Yeah.
Pendlebury. We love him. I do want to give some love, though, for a few Eagles players. Liam Baker was their best player. He rebounded all day, 35 disposals, 10 intercept possessions. What a pickup he's turned out to be for them. Tom McCarthy.
Oh,
He backed it up. 29 disposals. His debut was 31. Superb.
late run for the Brownlow.
Sure, mate. Rising star.
Yeah, rising.
Rising.
I don't know if he's old enough, actually.
Oh,
Might be too old. Brady Hoff, he's developing nicely
He's been
as a
good.
smooth moving midfielder. He had a goal, 27 disposals, 6 clearances. And I want to give one last shout out to Harry Edwards. He was really good. He ended with 9 intercept possessions. So Eagles showed some fight, but Collingwood just way too good.
yeah. The Eagles were leading at half time. I was hoping for the biggest upset ever, but the Pies, they just know how to win.
They know
And
how to do it.
we did talk about it on the Thursday that they've had a lot of closer games at Marvel, and it sort of happened again. So they'll be happy to go back to the MCG now, I think, because Marvels, they don't always play the best at Marvel.
Yeah.
But they got the job done. All right, Sunday, fun day, MCG. Here we go. Richmond versus Adelaide. Richmond, 8 goals, 6, 54. Adelaide, 18 goals, 14, 122. Now, I just want to touch on this. Before the game,
Yeah.
Richmond were trying to get in Adelaide's head a little bit before the game. They were playing the 2017 grand final highlights.
They should
What do we
have
think
showed
about that?
They should have showed this power stance.
I reckon they would have showed the power stance because that would get into the Adelaide heads. But
Get
it
into
obviously
text
didn't
for
work.
sure.
What was that?
It
sorry?
would get into text for sure because it was his idea.
It
wasn't
would. We've got Dan Curtin. We've got to talk about him finally announcing himself on the big stage.
Speaking
on
of
the
a
G.
curtain raiser,
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Okay, Dad.
I don't know
Career best disposals, 26 and 2 goals. He was everywhere. I feel like you're a big Dan Curtin fan.
mate, I'm big in on him. He's playing the wing role really nicely, but he's got scope to be a pure midfielder.
But when I want to see him play, I'll open the curtains if I want to see him play.
What
He's
is-
a beautiful player.
What are you drinking on
And
this
you shut
couch?
when
the
he's playing,
curtains.
I open the curtains.
And another player you open the curtains for.
Yes,
Plays in the back line.
Joshua Worrell.
Joshua Worrell.
Worrell has been really good this season. I think he's been underrated. You've talked up the defense as well. 24 disposals, 9 intercepts. He was awesome. You got to talk about the thriller, Phil Thorpe. He was awesome again. Monstering marks. He just barges through packs to take those big marks. 5 goals, 16 disposals. He sort of lifted his game this year to even build the disposals.
Yep.
I couldn't get that one out. But 15 plus in a game for the big forward is awesome.
Yeah, I think particularly in the second half, they helped him a lot. They improved a lot, Adelaide, with their delivery inside 50. That's where he's best at. I think early in that first half in particular, they were just kicking the ball way too low. There was too many turnovers, intercept possessions, a bit rushed, and it just didn't really play into the likes of Thriller's hands. But in the second half, they cleaned it up. And look, all you got to do is just put it on his head with a bit of air. And
And he's so good, yeah.
yeah, he's got
He has powers in that beard. It's beautiful. We got goals from elsewhere, though, as well, Leo, which was a bit of a surprise. Not the usual big forwards for Adelaide.
Max McAllion. I didn't know he had this in his locker. So he's normally a lockdown defender, does a great job at that. But they swung him forward. I think it was a little bit of a negating role on Vossen, which was a great matchup, great move by Nix.
Yep.
I thought so, credit there. 3 goals. So that proves that he's got upside as well. He's got the build for other positions.
Either end of the ground,
So,
One career goal before this game.
Yeah, and he just slots 3.
That's 3.
Light work.
Yeah.
On the forwards, how it's done.
He absolutely was. For the Tigers, weird one. They led the clearances, even though they got smashed in the game, but they led the clearances. Crows, when they got the ball, were just way more clinical. You got Dawson, just classy. Rankin was pretty good as well. But also for the Tigers, I talked him up on the Thursday show. Just a guy that just continuing great form. Sam Banks, 24 disposals, a really nice goal. Just there's a few guys from Richmond, I think, that aren't getting the plaudits or things like that because they're down the bottom of the ladder. But he's having a great season the last probably 8 weeks or so,
You feel like they've got plays here and there. They're inconsistent, but putting the piece together will eventually come, and that's when they'll go back up the ladder.
Fair call. Now, lads, I think I'm more fired up about this than North Melbourne losing.
Come off the long run.
This is outrageous. This is a dog act. It was a swinging arm. You can't be doing this, Tom Lynch. He had 5 frees against, just 2 disposals, and when he gets a little bit angry, when he's not playing well, he likes to throw his arms. I was calling it an almost king hit. Maybe that's a bit harsh.
If he connected,
Last time I saw arms like that, it was Ken Hinkley doing the aeroplane.
The aeroplane celebration. I like that.
I thought I loved you.
No, Ken Hinkley wouldn't do a swinging arm. Anyway, he did a swinging arm. Butts was okay. That he actually punched Butts sort of in the back of the head. Didn't fully
Lucky
connect.
he didn't fully connect.
But I don't know what's going on with Tom Lynch. How many weeks do we think for that? I think that should be the most we've had in a long time. I don't care.
Really? He didn't get him, though.
Yeah, but he tried to knock his head off.
He did clip him a little bit.
Him. I think they're going to give him a week, to be honest.
Oh,
A week or 2.
It's such a bad look for the game.
I
So
know,
it should be
it's
at least
shocking
4.
look.
I reckon
Off
8.
the ball as well.
You reckon 8 weeks?
Yeah, just teach him a lesson.
Imagine if he actually got him.
He's got suspended so many times.
I reckon 3 weeks.
It's a dog act, definitely.
3-4 weeks.
Like if he connected, he could genuinely have done harm, not just like a
Definitely.
concussion. It could have been worse. So that's
But you can't suspend people on the
act.
it may have called, you know what I mean?
this one you can, in my opinion. This one you
hate
can.
Tom Lynch.
No, but not even that. Just don't punch people. It's pretty easy.
You're a
Pretty
liar.
easy. What was that?
Don't worry.
Okay. That's all right. The Tigers weren't good enough. Adelaide, a big score, 122. They got the job done there. Sunday at Optus Stadium is the last game of the round. Fremantle, St Kilda. Fremantle, 11 goals, 15, 81. Hold on against the Saints, 9 goals, 15, 69. Marcus, this was actually another really good game.
It was. We all thought that this wasn't going to be a great game to close off the Sunday action, but it really was. It was a good game of footy. I'd like to start by praising St Kilda, some of their players, because they really stood up today. They played higher than expected. In particular, Max Hall, he was superb.
Box Hill product.
Yeah, he was very good. Nas Wanganeen-Milera was always excellent. He was just running everywhere.
He
around
was
the
at
ground.
both ends of the ground. He was awesome.
And the Viking. So he had the most spoils ever by a Saint with 14. So Spud would be proud of that one.
Yes, he would.
Could we go a bang on for Spud Frawley?
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Bang! I knew you wouldn't do it.
The camera would have been on me too, which is god damn it. Anyways, but I feel like in this game, Fremantle, they got the win, great win, but I feel like there's more question marks than answers. Even though they won 6 on the trot, but they almost dropped this game, and it was a game they normally drop, but they did come away with the win. They just wanted it more. You could tell in that last quarter, going a bit harder, and the players stood up when they needed to. I think St Kilda in the first 3 quarters kept Brayshaw and Sarong virtually non-existent in the first 3 quarters. Brayshaw had 18 at 3/4 time. Sarong only had 10. But in the last quarter, those 2 in particular stood up with 7 and 8, respectively. Jordan Clark was superb. Shout him out. 31 disposals and a goal. A few holding the balls. He won a few free kicks. He was great. But it was an absolute arm wrestle this game. 9 lead changes. 8 coming in the first 3 quarters. Obviously, Fremantle. Well, Jack Higgins kicked the first goal of the last quarter, but Fremantle just kept coming late, and it was the tall people who got it done.
The tall people. Not the rocks, the tall people.
It was Tracy, Darcy, Jackson, the goal kickers. They were the ones who really stood up. But the ruck battle was so interesting. It was Darcy, he was superb. He was brilliant.
Darcy turned back the clock. Shrek? They call him Shrek down there, I'm pretty sure.
Do they?
Yeah, I've heard a few people calling that. It's a bit harsh. He's not that bad looking like Shrek, but yeah.
Well, Darcy and Jackson
That's
actually
insight right there.
actually won the hit out count 57-26 in favour of Fremantle, but it was St Kilda who dominated around the ball in the clearance, particularly in those first three quarters. They won the clearance count by 15, 31-46. Marshall's goal straight out the air, Jackie Chan style, just kicking it out of midair.
Goal of the year. Not many players can do that.
Goal of the year.
I wouldn't go that.
It was
far.
goal of the
It
round.
wasn't even the best goal of the
Nah,
game.
it was goal
Was
of
it
the
the goal around?
Yeah.
No.
Watson's goal, Darcy's
Watson
goal.
and Darcy were both better goals.
Oof.
Oh, you went a bit English
He's
there.
pretty passionate about this.
Yes,
Yeah.
because this man is an idiot. The man that I'm looking across from right now is a moron.
Oh, okay. He doesn't
But I
believe
love
that.
it. I love
He
it.
doesn't believe that.
Yeah, they did show that having Darcy in the ruck and Jackson up forward really still does
Yeah.
work.
I'm still not sold though.
It was a great. You probably get more out of Jackson playing him in the ruck. He is the number one ranked player over the last 6 matches, I believe.
Yep.
In the competition, Luke Jackson. But yeah, it was the ruck battle was the interesting one and one that I wanted to keep an eye on because Darcy was superb, Marshall was brilliant, but Fremantle get the job done.
Well, we talked about the ruck battle on the previous show. I was on Team Jackson. You were on Team Marshall stats.
Yeah.
Guy. I think you take the chocolates out of that.
Yes.
So well done. I'm the moron.
I did say
I'm
that-
the idiot.
I did say that Jackson would flop. He didn't have his best
In
game,
terms of ruck,
but he wasn't too bad.
Darcy.
he still Jackson kicked 2 goals. And
Yeah.
he was still very influential.
Yeah.
No one said Darcy though.
No one said Darcy.
Well, we
so
didn't even think he was going to play.
maybe I'm the winner. So yeah, Fremantle they escape and make it 6 on the trot.
6 in a row. The Saints put up a good fight. I feel for the Saints fans. They got so close. Even against the Pies as well, they were pretty good. So,
Plenty to look up for though for St Kilda.
yeah, lots of good young guys, as Leo's talked about all season. All right, the games are done. Let's get into the ladder check now. Pies fans, right at the top. They'll be up and about. They're 2.5 games clear on top of the ladder. No one's catching them, right, lads? No one's catching the Pies.
No, they've got the minor premiers.
Yeah.
100%.
They just find ways to win. It wasn't even the most convincing win, but they just keep finding ways to win. We still have a clear gap between the top 9 and the bottom 9. So it's still a good race for the finals, but it's starting to just that top 9 because after that, there's some teams really dropping off.
It's a good. Sorry, you go.
Can we have a finals for the bottom 9? Let's just
Play
do
in
it.
tournament?
Come on.
What's
we
Oh,
need
that
to
what?
play
There's a
tournament. We
petty
need it.
finals.
The petty finals.
No, we don't do that. We don't do that. We got Carlton. They're clinging on to life at an 11th. They're just
Somehow they're
how are
11th.
they 11th?
Yeah,
I think Carlton fans don't even think they should be 11th. And then you've got the bottom 4: Saints, North, Tigers, Eagles. Still the bottom 4.
Yep.
North possibly could still jump a few teams there, but
Melbourne
in,
are 14. So.
in terms of just the 2-point gap there, so pretty interesting one, and that's the ladder check. Let's get into the tipping results. That's up next. Ooh. All clear. 7. We got 7 tips.
we all got 7, right?
We got them all right, and Leo got 6. What are you doing,
I
mate?
tipped Sydney.
It was a 50-50 game.
That was a.
Look, I'm behind in tipping, so I want to catch up, and that was the game that I thought was like most likely to be an upset.
Well, we don't want about catching up. We want just tip the winner.
No, I want to win tipping.
All right.
Playing it strategically.
Okay, well, it didn't work.
Well,
There we go.
Have fun with your 6 tips, mate. Me and Liam both got 7 out of 7.
Yeah, let's go, mate.
fine.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, a lock results. Oh, Leo's having. This is not a good show for Leo. So, Leo, we'll start off with you. I think our locks here. I'll touch on them in a sec. What'd you have?
Well, first, I thought Marcus did a fart because it stinks over here, but it's just my absolute horrendous calls.
Okay.
Fogarty 2+, you're killing me, Fogarty. Kick 1 goal 2.
We had Phil in the comments say that he multied up our locks. So you've cost him a
I'm
multi.
sorry,
there.
Phil.
Cost him.
Phil, I'll transfer you your $3, whatever you put on it.
I don't think it was 3 much. So yeah, Leo, that was a bit stiff when they're kicking 122 points and he hasn't got 2 goals.
Oh,
Don't worry. It's
sorry,
all right.
I'm over it.
Next week. Marcus, Darcy Cameron 15+. Good call.
Absolute lock.
Absolute lock. And then I've gone the Suns to score 90+, which I was a little bit worried about, but they got 104 points. So
They had that like pretty early, and then they kind of like shut up shop a bit. So.
yeah, the second and third quarter when Melbourne were coming back, I'm like, oh, that 90+ is looking a bit dicey, but they got 104 points. They kick goals for fun. Big call results are same as usual. Big X's. I had Sam Palpeppo to get 15 and 3 goals. He got 16, but no goals. So that was a bit bad. Leo?
Yeah,
Darcy Cameron.
Darcy Cameron 25 and a goal did not turn out. I reckon there's more X's in our big calls and locks than there is on Australia's Got Talent or America's Got Talent.
Oh, that's a weird reference.
That's a very weird reference.
I thought you were making like a Love Island or like X. What's that? X's on the island? I don't know what that's called.
Paradise
I
show.
don't know.
Bachelor in
But-
Paradise.
Anyway,
What a show.
What
Should
a
we do
show.
a AFL Today Bachelor in Paradise?
Well, there's only one Bachelor.
Well, we'll wingman him.
The whole show.
The whole show. That's the show.
Since when has this turned into like a
dating?
Well, yeah, let's get Marcus. Let's get Marcus someone.
You know what I want?
someone.
I want like bots in the comment to be like, "Hi, I'm single. Please check out my page."
That's when you know you've made it. If the bots are in the comments.
And I had Sam Darcy for 5 goals. And
Oh yeah,
8 marks.
you had to say a big call.
Yeah.
Leo just thought we were talking off camera, I reckon.
Yeah, and I think he finished with 3 goals, 4 marks. I think
Yeah, he was pretty close. He was pretty
Well, he
close.
started the game on fire.
he did.
Yeah, so bad luck there. All right, best on ground of the week. Leo always gets so nervous. He's sweating over there on these ones because there was a lot of good players this week. Give me 3 votes for the best on ground this week,
Well, I'll
please.
start with 1 vote.
Yeah, start with the one. Vote.
I meant you all 3.
M. Bergman.
Oh,
1 vote, 25 disposals, 2 goals, 8 marks, 5 clearances, 5 tackles. That is a well-rounded game. But he shut down Cripps. Cripps had 17 disposals.
Yep.
I thought he was fantastic. 2 votes. You Gunston. Uncle Gunston.
Oh, you, Unky.
Unky Gunsty. 7 goals. He was just superb. Down in Tassie. Career best figures for him. 3 votes. M. Bontempelli. That stands for Mini Bontempelli. Joel Freijah. 23 disposals. 4 goals.
That was good.
He's 19. He's the best thing that's happened to the western suburbs since...
Slice bread.
Yeah, it's like when we just got that last week.
They just got sliced bread.
We just got that one last week too. So well done, Jolie boy. He was fantastic. Some honourable mentions, just quickly.
Sure.
Chol, Grundy, Georgiades, Rowell, Dacos, and Heaney.
Heaney, Rao,
Melton
Chol,
with
I reckon.
5-6, not to get an honourable mention.
Yeah.
Mate, he kicked 5 goals, 6.
Just don't kick 6
Single reason they won it. They were in the game and they lost the game.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how good he is. He can do it all.
Do it all.
I actually love Fraser at 3 for the 3 votes. Good call there. Good call.
Thank you.
We'll see if we can keep calling this a big good call. When we get to that best team of the round, Marcus, you've always got some controversy.
Alright.
I was so surely tempted to put some losing teams
St
in
Kilda?
the 1 vote.
No,
I
you
was
can't
tempted.
do that.
St Kilda 1 vote, mate. West Coast possibly the 1 vote. But there were some good winners throughout the week.
Yes,
and
yes.
For 1 vote, I'm going to go the Port Adelaide Power.
Yes.
1 vote. Okay.
1 vote.
Good win.
1 vote. 2 votes, perhaps a little bit harsh because it was a great game. They did get the job done. The W Bulldogs.
W Dogs. That's
2
very
votes.
harsh in my opinion. But
Really?
Let's hear 3.
Well, the
Let's hear
3 votes goes to the H Hawks
Oh,
down in Tassie.
Against the training cones.
kicking 150 points, playing North Melbourne, who have played a brilliant 2 months of football. And we talked about this. You're saying that, but you were the one on the Thursday show that said it would be a danger game.
Yeah, he was worried. He was worried.
Yeah, but it doesn't make us the best team.
But to come away with such a dominant performance.
Yeah,
kicking a
I'd
high
give us-
score,
I'd give us 1 or
players
2
kicking
votes.
career high hauls all over the park.
Nah, he's convinced me.
I think the winner of the best game we've seen this season should be the best team of the round, which was the Dogs.
That's all right. It's not your segment.
Well, and it's going to
Been
be
off,
soon.
mate.
Been off. All right, I'm calling it. He's done all right there. That wasn't too bad. That'll do us for the AFL Today Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe to AFL Today on YouTube and follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more footy content all season long. Subscribe, star, and like all your shows on your podcast apps. That's Cricket Today Show, AFLW Today, Hold All Tickets, True Bloods, Honest Beers, and Footy Form Guide. Thank you very much to Alessi behind the camera. I'll go with Marcus this time. Thanks, Marcus. I'll go first.
Thank you, Stats Guys. So you're not saving the best till last.
There we go. And then we'll go, thanks, Leo. And I'm nervous for the week ahead of the bet that we had.
Yes, thank you. And I actually just want to apologise for how mean I was earlier.
Oh, that's all right.
I called you an idiot.
I'm
and
used.
that was mean.
Oh, that's all right. I'm used to it, mate.
Make him suck your tongue.
Marcus is the idiot.
Yeah, what a surprise. We'll see you on Thursday for the midweek, man. We'll catch you then on AFL Today.